Alright, hello everyone, it's mysticjuicer back with some more Yomi action. This is IYL 5. This is the last game of the pools section of the season. I'm playing against Phrawger and we're starting off with some Troc versus Midori. We've got a nice bit of an opener here. We've got a couple of different tools. We've got a single block, which is less than ideal, but we're going to try to duff some throws. Unfortunately, he's thinking the exact same thing. Generally, Midori is a little bit more pressured to play attacks in this matchup than Troc is. His attacks are faster, so he's got 0.2 speed attacks. And I just realized I've got my headphones on. I really don't need to have that. So, yeah, he's pressured to play the attack side of the mix-up a little bit more often. Because his throws are just not that great. He has 0.8 speed throws. He generally does not want to throw with his twos, which is the source of his dragon form transformation. So can't really push that button all that often. So his next fastest throw is a 3. And Troc does have 2 full ranks of throws that will beat that. So his 2s and his kings are both going to give Midori trouble. The thing that Midori can do to get around that is he can play kings, his own kings in neutral, and then spin them around to dragon form side. So 17 damage with essentially 2 cards spent, which is pretty reasonable. It's about the same as Troc's general kind of damage before he gets attached blocks. Going for that second attached block there, and Phrawger goes ahead, plays that king in neutral, probably backed up with a 10 behind it. Okay, there we go. Get our attached block. Phrawger looking to duff out a counterattack, and we've got a lot of really nice aggressive tools here. Generally, in the grappler matchups, your default kind of playstyle can be, look at your hand. Do you have the dominant throw? If you do, press the dominant throw button. If you don't, press a 4 or a 5 attack, depending on if you're playing against Midori or a king having, a special king, an SPD essentially having a grappler like Rook or Troc. I'm pressing block again here because I don't really have anything to deal all that much damage with, and he's been playing semi-aggressive range. He's been playing a lot of throws, a lot of attacks, so I don't want to get exploded with anything. There we go. We got some nice footsies going. We're going to be able to convert this into 17 damage and essentially even up the life totals. We've now got a bit of a hand size advantage, which doesn't matter all that much, although we do not yet have tons of aces in hand, so having a high hand size is pretty good for that. In the mid game, it can be a little bit difficult to hit Beast Unleashed in this matchup, so I'm not banking on being able to do that, or particularly aggressively playing towards Beast Unleashed. And the reason for that is that Midori can go into dragon form, just play a jack or a queen, and beat both sides of the typical dragon form mix-up. Or, the Beast Unleashed, raw Beast Unleashed, or dodged into Beast Unleashed mix-up. So you do have to have, blocks in hand. You do have to kind of play around that range. So we took a bit of hurt here. He's going to go into dragon form. I should check his discard right now just to see what he has, what he possibly could do. He's got a 5-card hand, and he's played a single king. So I don't really want to attack him, because if I do and he just blocks, he's going to be able to get that king back. So instead, we'll just sit back, try to get him to exhaust some queens. And at worst, we take 17 damage, but we can live through that if that happens. Just hopefully we can exhaust him slightly. Just going to see if we get more queens. Yeah, lots of queens, lots of jacks coming out. Just going to hold down back for a little while, not get exploded. And then eventually try to throw him once he runs out of good moves. Okay, there we go. So we got a pretty good indicator that he no longer has anything to spend. It doesn't look like he has throws of any kind. We could consider playing the 10 here to War Stomp him, just to put him on the ground. Although we don't have a mix-up normal, so I don't really want to test that. Very nice. Get around a Joker. And the reason I'm playing this so incredibly slowly is I am down a little bit on health, but it really, really looks like he does not have any kings to be able to do much with. So now that I know that, I can try to apply some pressure. Now that he has spent a lot of jacks, spent a lot of queens, we should be okay here. So powering up for Beast Unleashed does kind of push him, if he has another Joker, to attack here. If he doesn't have a Joker, blocking is probably the safest thing to do. Okay, so that's a pretty good indicator that he doesn't in fact have the Joker. Get to cash out for 20 damage, even up the life totals. He's still at 6 cards on this next turn. He's still probably out of really good options. We have Beast Unleashed on deck. We're in a really good position. We may be able to get dodge into Beast Unleashed at this point. The reason I'm not spending it is I'm very conservative when it comes to spending Beast Unleashed as a combat reveal. Something people have probably caught on to in in watching my games. You do have to be a little bit wary of running into big normals. That is a way that he can absolutely get back into this game. We can't slow roll it too badly, because he will eventually get some dragon cards, possibly pick up a 10. Yeah, there comes the queen. We see the 10. We do. I'm probably going to face down something, not the Joker. I want to hang on to that. But yeah, the Jack is not particularly valuable here. I don't mind spending it. We have, dominant throws out the wazoo. I'm not too terribly worried about getting hit with a Jack, because again, I do have the real Joker. So again, generally, it's not a great idea to be dodging against Midori, because he's not going to be attacking much. And if he does attack, it's going to be with dragon attacks, and those eat your dodges. But if they're low on dragon attacks, they've spent a bunch of resources, and they are, you're playing against another grappler who has dominant throws against you, then I think dodging against Midori is actually often very good. Okay, he's not giving it to us. But I believe I think there might be two jacks and 3 queens in his discard. So again, still not all that worried. There we go. Patience rewarded. This could be an indicator that he has the Joker, but I think not. I'll take the bet on it not being one. We're still in a pretty good position. Oh, no, actually. Okay, never mind, to take all of that back. I'm very sad right now. I feel great sadness. But I think it was worth the shot. He yeah. leash confirmed. It was worth a shot going for it. He doesn't always have it in that instance. He's already spent a previous joker. This is a little unfortunate because it does mean he's getting back into the game. Okay, immediate dragon form, which is not ideal. But he essentially only has throws left. So we do have to play attack into a block, or we want to avoid attacking into a block or throwing into a counter throw. So kings are fairly likely. Yeah, okay, instead he final Dragon Busters us. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Joker in just in case he has silently drawn all 4 aces. It's not terribly likely, but I don't want to accidentally lose the game. Even a single other ace would have put me at 1 hit point, and that's pretty close to an unwinnable situation. So I'd much rather try to make something happen with 17 hit points here. Still in dragon form. So Raw King is lethal if I don't attack. 4 poke is also probably lethal. So this is probably over. Face down desperately. Okay, it just has the 4. He loses dragon form. He essentially confirms for us that he has nothing left in his hand, or he shouldn't have kings left in his hand, because he probably would have spent them at that point. So I'm thinking he doesn't have any face cards. I just need to try to not to die here. He could go for a throw attempt. I have powered up a fair amount of kings. Okay, this is good. We get to build a little bit more. See if we can get... king will be helpful. Started dodging. Ooh, we got footsied. The reason I'm playing the 5 and not the queen, for example, is if I win with the queen, I may win combat. Like, it's a higher likelihood to win combat, but at that point, I'm basically trying to win rock paper, scissors anyway. I'm at very low health totals. So, tricky situation. Probably could have played that endgame better. Definitely got exploderated a couple of times. So we'll switch to Onimaru, try to give Midori a bit of a difficult time. The things that Midori is likely to do early is he could open up with a jack or other such face card. Jack or queen is a pretty good opener if you expect Midori to play either a 5 or a 10. Standard Midori opener is either an 8 or a 10 because either of those will crush all blocks. I'll go with the 3 just to undercut any big normal. Cash in some damage, build a bit of a hand this way. So the only thing we have to worry about is attacking with the 4 is actually not all that safe because Midori can just counterattack with a 4 of his own, which beats Onimaru's 4 by 0.2 speed. But given that he opened up with a 6, I'm expecting that he does not have the 4. Okay, there we go. He's going for high blocks now. This is where we can get ourselves in trouble as Onimaru. The way to win this matchup, in my opinion, as Onimaru, is not to worry too much about, not attacking into Midori's blocks, but just basically in the mid game, you can't count on the fact that you're going to kill him before he gets into dragon form. So in the mid game, you want to have a Joker, and the only combos you want a Joker are dodge into Final Dragon Buster, essentially. The more you can prevent that particular situation from happening, the better you're going to be. Okay, so it goes for a 3. Goes for a throw on that turn after a couple of low pokes. And knowing that I know that he has a high block, probably indicates that he thinks that I do not have an 8 attack or a 10 attack. Otherwise, the kind of typical response to, so nicely played by him. The typical response to seeing a high block like that is just for Onimaru to play the 8 or 10 immediately afterwards. So I don't quite get that cash out. He gets to duff me for some big damage, equalizes the health totals, gets an ace on deck, and I no longer have guard crush normals. Now he did spend that 8, so we have some 5s that we could play in neutral to see if we can get something going. Otherwise, playing a 7 throw is actually fairly good here. If we think that he's got another 8 that he's itching to block with. Okay, glad we didn't throw. Just cash out some queens. Queens are very nice to spend in the early to mid game. In the late game, you pretty much only want to be final authoritying with kings and jacks because they have a higher damage ceiling. The queens become much less useful because you can't pump them. They're only 10 damage guaranteed, and they're very good speed anyway, so you don't really want to spend generally final authority on them unless they're beating something very, very important. Okay, we get duffed with the queen. He does not rotate it. Just cashes in 10 damage. We're very, very even on life totals. Pick up another jack. Those are going to be important in the late game. It could be fair. They're okay combat reveals in neutral, but the longer the game goes on and the more Midori is able to kind of accrue the cards that he wants to have in his hand, the less useful they're going to become in terms of duffing out normal attacks. Okay, block second queen. It's very nice for us. Sitting on a very nice hand size. Phrawger is at 9 cards, so he's got a good Midori hand at this point. Given that we have started blocking with our 5 here, I'm expecting a jack, to counter poke the 5 attack. Instead, get dragon thrown for 12. Things are starting to look a little dicey here. Okay, pick up our first ace. That's going to be handy. Very good neutral tool, and it's going to activate that king that we've got, and it's going to activate those 3 jacks that we've got in hand. He's played fairly aggressive in neutral so far, so playing the ace is not all that bad. It can be very difficult and very awkward for Midori to block against Onimaru, just because you can get hit for a lot of damage and a lot of card efficient damage if you block incorrectly or you block too predictably. Very nice 5 throw there. Probably looking for a dodge. I tend to like dodging immediately after attaching the single ace. Reason for that being that you know, dodge hedges nice. Like the immediate mix-up after attaching single ace is just face card or 10 attack. You know, you beat one of those by attacking into it. So dodging, pretty good move. He has spent a fair amount of dragon attacks. So we've seen 2 queens and a single jack so far, I think. So dodging can have some success. He's still, you know, he's still at a high enough health total that I'm going to need to hit him with some big neutral bombs here. We're getting to the point where we're going to have to start face downing against jack starters and stuff like that. So he threw us, he immediately dodged on the next turn. We've played pretty defensively. Okay, dodge, dodge. Again, he's just trying to finish off this game. Playing a little bit around Final Authority now, while at the same time playing around guard crushes. So in this situation, basically Midori and Onimaru have each other in the mix-up. Like Oni can just Final Authority and crush anything that Midori plays that isn't. Yeah, that was a very nice Final Dragon Buster against a greedy 7 throw. I'm not sure exactly what he saw. I guess he's just like, okay, well, I mean, I've dodged a fair amount. He might think I have a ton of them left. Final Authority is very obvious here, so it's probably not what he's going to do. Therefore, I can just try to get him with this Final Dragon Buster. He was also at a fair amount of health. If I had hit him with the jack there, that would have been really dicey for him, though. So opening plays from him last game were a bunch of low normals, and that will continue here. He's only got one more game that he's on match point, essentially, or set point, I should say. Same thing. So I've really got to turn it on here. Got to make this happen. It's very likely that he's going to switch to Argagarg at some point during this set, since he is up in games, and that is a very difficult matchup. Could also switch to Degray, although I don't believe that he has a Degray. Okay, there we go. Get to equalize the health totals a bit here. He's going to take us down to 80. Yeah, not going to follow that up just because I want the additional cards. I haven't really drawn any large normals yet. Yeah, I've got the 10 and that was immediately duffed, so I haven't had any success there. He's been playing his 4s and his 5s. See if we can get another normal here. Yes, we do. Just going to armor through these, take these good trades. Could toss a 6 here, but yeah, I don't really mind just dealing the 10. 70 versus 65 is essentially the same. And again, I'm still sitting on a 9-card hand. It's not massive. That's 2 4s in a row. Might be out of 4s, so we might want to play a... Oh, okay. Yeah, that's an awkward undercut. That's a very sad 8 attack there. And 8 into double jack for that huge punish. So things are definitely looking dicey. It's another big normal gone. The 8 attack tells me he does not have any 4s, 5s, or 6s left, so I feel fairly confident playing the 6. Yeah, that is true. There we go. Rarely seen Oni 6 attack. Doesn't often get to do much. Just going to cash out that 7. We've already got 3 7s in hand. They are not a dominant throw in the matchup, so they're not all that important as throws. I do want to hang on to some of them because they are the only dedicated throw that Onimaru has. So we may want to press the throw button at some point during this match, and they do deal 15 damage, which is not dramatically different from like his 10 throw, which deals 18. So only a difference of 3 hit points. We generally want to hang on to it. His 8s have an important attack on them. His 10s have an important attack on them. And his 9s are final authorities, so you don't want to be spending them all that often. Although throwing with the 9s is not a bad. I think after the 7, they're probably the best throw that he has, at least in this matchup. Because again, your 8s are so dedicated to guard crushing. Okay, we've evened up the health totals a bit. We have the Joker, so I'm not too worried about feeding him cards in the mid-game here. Our options are basically Queen or 6 or block. I don't mind dodge into normal throw because it's not all that much damage. It's going to put a little bit more pressure on his hand size. With the number of 7s that I have, I should be being a little bit careful about what I discard and what I pump with. Go ahead and block with the 7. Onimaru does have a limited supply of odd blocks. His 7s, 5s, and 9s are all fairly important. Again, in this matchup, the 7 is not really all that valuable, so just blocking with it is absolutely fine. Generally, just blocking with his 5 is also very good. Again, we get bamboozled with the kings. Trying to throw into that. 28 hit points remain. We're in some dicey territory. I can attack fairly confidently here. If he does hit me with a jack or a queen, I've got the Joker as backup, so I know I'm not going to die. Difficulty now is, what do I think he has? So playing the queen here to potentially, just to deal with queens of his own. Okay, he normal throws out of it. This is a very good sequence for us. It's going to take him out of dragon form. For free, we're gonna deal 10 damage. We're gonna equalize life totals a little bit. He's at 44 hit points, which is a bit of an awkward life total. That is essentially 3 combats away. Okay, immediate dragon form. I should now be worried about attacks only. The fact that he normal threw instead of king throwing or final dragon bustering means he is out of dragon throws for sure. That is a pretty hard tell, unless he's just drawn one, in which case I'm probably gonna take 17 damage. Okay, there's the queen. We are gonna Joker this. Yeah, so good patience on his part. We are 1 queen away from dying. Got another Joker though. And so far we have basically not guard crushed him at all this set, which is really brutal. That's a happy little accident. Finally managed not to get exploded. I mean, honestly, the double ace throw there is a very good combat reveal. The only thing better than it would have just been a dodge, and the reason for that is the likelihood that he has a throw there is much lower than him having a queen or a jack. So honestly, blocking is a very good choice, and double ace just kills me right there. Would have been a quick 3-0 for Phrawger. So luckily we're still in the game. Power up for single ace with the sevens. Sevens aren't going to do us much good. We don't have the face cards to be able to, like, I don't have a second jack, so I don't have 20 damage off of jack. Okay, gets the dodge off. Luckily, we've got the joker. Okay, spends a dragon queen. So again, we don't have, we have confirmation that he does not have king. Question is, does he still have a, does he still have a queen? Does he still have a jack? Should we double ace him here? Should we throw him here? Should we go for a final authority play? Okay, luckily we picked correctly. Double aces would also have been correct. Get rid of one of those aces. We still have the two, which are the only ones that we really need. He probably needs to face down here. No, okay. Yeah, actually, it's very, I guess only 4 kings would have been lethal there, so he really doesn't need to do that. We pick up another king, which is unfortunate. Would have really liked to have that last turn. The fact that he opened with a jack tells me that we can probably get away with martial law unless he's been really clever. That is very sad. It's a very sad making situation here. Gets 2 aces back, and we are within the mix-up. So we've got to 10 attack his throws, or we've got to throw his dodge if he's got it, or we've got to block ace-ace if he plays it attack side. So luckily we catch his 8. It's going to make things a lot easier for us on this next turn. Get rid of the king because that's useless to us. Yeah, the reason I didn't play the attack side of that 10 is just because if he had another dodge, that would have been curtains. So I know I have to contend with a possible ace-ace here. I think it's fairly low likelihood that he has dragon king. Just gonna put that right back on him. And combo into anything here. There we go. So we narrowly avoid the 3-0 here. Get ourselves on the board. He's got opportunities to counterpick here. But again, he's gone 1-1 in Midori versus Onimaru right now, so I don't blame him for sticking in the matchup, to be quite honest. I don't know. I'm trying to think if Phrawger plays Argagarg as a main or as one of his side characters. It could be a matter of he may think this is a bad matchup for Midori, but not terrible, and feel a little bit less comfortable playing Argagarg versus Onimaru than Midori. So in that case, why not stick with it? This time opening with confident blocks. I've pretty much played pretty much played a pretty heavy low normal range against his early game in the last couple of games. So really good range switch on his part. He's going to open me up with his queen here. Luckily no spin. So we just take the 10. I count that as a strategic combat win. Means one less queen to deal with when he finally goes into dragon form. And we're essentially still back in the neutral. The 5s and 3s that I have will deal nicely with counter pokes. But if he starts opening up with a lot of jacks, a lot of queens, I'm going to be in a tight spot here. And he's already at 12 cards. The reason I'm a little, again, I'm down on matches. I don't want to. I'm essentially playing an extremely conservative range here. Immediate power up for aces. No dragon form, so I'm not worried about them too much. He might use this as an opportunity to try to go in with a throw. He does not. Instead, he gets to take 20. Yeah, first one of the set. So probably toss a 3. You cannot give 10 the block. We take a bit of a life lead. Again, he's still got a very nice set of cards in hand. Goes for the throw. Gets hit with the follow-up 5. I'm still trying to poke out low normals. Yeah, I'm not going to play anything there. I want to hold on to the 6 just for the dedicated block. I've only got the 6 and the 2 in hand, so if I ever lose one of those, it's going to be quite difficult. I've played fairly, yeah. So the ace was fairly high likelihood to win combat there, I feel like. I've played a pretty aggressive normal and 10 range here. So I was hoping to snag a jack. I've got 2 jokers now, so I can play into this dragon form with confidence. So he's got a king and who knows what else. Okay. Get hit with the queen. He's not yet in drag. Oh, sorry. No, he didn't enter dragon form. Okay, never mind. So yeah, the things I should be worried about, yeah, are him ever getting dragon form. That could be difficult for me to deal with. He did power up a bunch of 7s though. So the yeah, the 6 attack might actually be good for opening up a block. Nope, still got that 8. It's worth an attempt though. Again, I mostly don't care about his build right now because I do have the 2 jokers to fall back on. I could probably take an opportunity here to block a little bit. He hasn't been, I mean, I've been playing like a crazy attack heavy range. He's only thrown the once. It wouldn't be terrible to take like 16 damage or something. But this is okay too. Get to deal 10 or 15 here. Yeah, well, yeah, the 2 isn't all that valuable. Although, again, we're down to a single block now, although I don't really have any interest in blocking at this point, so I'm not too mad at that. Cash out a queen for 25, always feels good. Copper with the DP love. Yeah, got it. I love Onimaru. I love how much ridiculous damage he deals. I just love the way that he plays. So satisfying to play. We get a very lucky dodge here. I don't really know why that dodge came out. I think I was just looking for a normal of some kind. Probably didn't need to follow it up at all, but hey, he's two combat losses away from death. Why not try? Okay, immediate power up for one more ace. We got two kings. That does not quite lead to lethal, and we don't have any spades or clubs to really do much with. So hence the block. I'm not particularly worried about him throwing because it's so terrifying to throw against Onimaru when you're at a hit point deficit. Phrawger immediately powers up for two more aces, so he should have, so he powered up for one, played it again, and then powered up for two, so he should just have two aces in hand. The method works. Give more chip. Copper in the chat, dispensing cubes. So he's ace-aced twice in a row. We now have a spade, so we could go for a final authority. But again, blocking is just very, very strong here. No reason to really risk anything until we've got potential lethal in hand. Now, even a successful dodge does not do anything. There we go. Deal some more damage. No reason to play the final authority yet. Now we actually have lethal off of final authority kings. Okay, enters dragon form. We know he's got two aces, but we know he has maximum 3 aces. Yeah, the Proto Men. So good. Okay, he's got all 4 aces. But again, we've got lots of jokers, so we are in a good spot. Can just go for a 6 attack here. Not really worried about getting hit by queen. We've got a lot of hit points. The only thing we need to avoid is getting hit with Final Dragon Buster, and we've got 2 jokers to do that with. So again, any attack is very, very safe. Could go for a very rude Final Authority to king into knockdown into Clockwork Soldiers for lethal. But in any case, things are looking very, very good here. Probably power up the 2s? No, okay. Powering up the 2s I think would be pretty good. Because Clockwork Soldiers doesn't deal any chip, and Martial Law does. And it's a pretty good speed. It's going to be beaten by Ace attack, but again, not really worried about that because it removes the burst damage off of Final Dragon Buster. Hence the single ace there. Okay, we get lit up by queen, but again, don't really need to worry. We could face down here. But I think it's unlikely that he has much of anything to hit us with after that queen. He's already spent a fair amount of dodges. Yeah, I'm just taking a second here just to look at what face cards I've already played. So there were a large number of spades there, so I'm going to hang on to pick up a diamond just in case I pick up something useful. And now we've got something that beats blocks and also beats everything. Yeah, we get knocked down. We've gone only through half of our deck, so one joker is very reasonable to have. Wake Up Throw would actually be pretty good because, again, we protect ourselves from the burst potential of Final Dragon Buster. Or we can just final authority a lot. We haven't done much of that throughout the entire set. But again, it's very likely that we would have it at this point. So if he empty dodges one more time, does not follow it up with final Dragon Buster, then we're actually in a lot of trouble. So I should be checking his number of dodges just to see if I should be waking up 7 this turn. In case he's got final Dragon Buster, I just Joker. I only take 20. I'm at 28. And then that's just, probably one less dodge. But luckily, goes for the king. We get to close that game out. Even up the set, 2-2. And we go into the ace match. One more to decide it. I forget what the 27 method is. Oh. Oh, did I get... Oh, yeah. I think at one point when I hit him with the king, with single king, he face downed, and I could have got him. But again, didn't have another king in hand, so it's fine. All right, switches to Argagarg. Yeah, this is... yeah, counterpicking is just correct. Like, just you put your opponent in the tough matchups, right? Take the highest likelihood chance of winning the set. If your opponent doesn't know the matchup, if your opponent can't cover the bad matchups, then that's on them. There is no shame in it at all. I think it is correct play to do so. Okay, so this matchup is difficult. It can be very, very tough. We have started with 3 queens in hand, so that's very nice, actually. Very useful to have those when we do go into to range, essentially, to bubble shield form. I'm just going to spend a lot of time here in the early game blocking. He seems very eager to defend his hand. Probably doesn't have any aces in hand at this point. So all I want to do is build up a big hand so that I can successfully throw in the mid game. So throw for big damage in the mid game. Get a lot of dodges so that I can do that in the mid game and late game as well. I want to have a lot of options in hand. I want to get my final authorities. I want to get my aces and queens and all that good stuff. So he's blocked with a 10, and I think honestly follow up with ace is very likely and strong, but it's entirely possible that he just did that to see, because he saw I was being very, very passive and thought it would prompt me into attacking with a 10, trying to get that guard crush. In this matchup, the 10s are actually very useful as throws and very good, obviously, as dodge follow-ups. Sometimes you just want to follow up just want to go for guaranteed, essentially, damage. Okay, he is crawling a little bit up inside himself, blocking with the 9. 9s are equivalent to 10s. They lose and beat to the same things in Onimaru's deck. We have a single attached ace. Don't have a second joker yet. Haven't seen any throws from him, which is actually very, very good. The way that Onimaru can lose this very rapidly is if you play this very passive style where you're blocking a ton, and then your opponent just throws you a bunch. Don't actually want to spend any cards here. I don't mind discarding the ace. I'm very unlikely to be able to attach another one this game. Single attached aces as much as I can hope for. I'm going to hold on to the kings for as long as possible, because in this matchup, if it does go long, and it looks like it's going to go long in this case, it's very possible that you get a ton of kings. And Phrawger playing very, very passively as well, playing essentially a block attack range, which is not that bad. That is the range I am most comfortable playing against in this matchup, because it does mean that my dodges are essentially are very, very safe. If he's not going to throw me, then the worst that happens is I dodge and he deals me 2 from his hex. Okay, goes for the dodge here. Again, still worried about guard crush attempts. Dodge into throw. Not all that worried. Gets a cross-up opportunity here. The mix-up is he ace blocks or he goes for a cross-up. And luckily for me, he ace blocked. So we get to cash out 15 here. Now, I do want to hold on to the 6. You want to spend as few throws as possible, but again, I didn't want to spend any of the face cards, because again, we could assemble a lot of kings very rapidly if we get lucky. Don't want to spend, queens I don't want to pump with. They're still very good neutral reveals. Okay, dodge, dodge, still doing okay. No throws yet, really. He wants to play very, very passively. We get another ace block. At this point, we're dealing enough damage per turn that hanging on to the kings is not all that important. If we ever connect with jacks, it's going to be a massive amount of damage unless he's got a joker. Probably going to go for a dodge here. We've thrown twice in a row. Okay, no, throw 3 times in a row. Why not? Okay, we get lit up with a jack. Life total's still very even, but I've got a lot of cached damage. Going a little nutty with the throws now. Okay, catch a 3. It's nice. Probably going to cash in a queen and a 4. Yeah. May have been okay to just pump that once instead of twice, hang on to another dodge. But again, we're getting very close to just killing him with dodge into jack. We've gone nutty with the throws, so the pressure is on him to respond to that. Get the nice dodge into this 3. Just going to go ahead and cash this jack out. Because we get at least 15 damage, it puts him at 20. We can close this game out from this distance. And he doesn't actually have the joker, which is fantastic for us. And now it's going to be very difficult for him to win. If we pick up a diamond here, it is going to be curtains. Unless he dodges, it will be lethal. And yeah, so I'm just going to spend the queen here. I'm going to spend a little bit of time thinking about it, but this plays nicely around both double ace and single ace because it does chip out. We could spend the dodge first, but then what do we dodge into? Follow-up is kind of awkward because we want to hold on to the only... We need both of the final authorities here, essentially. Yeah, so he opens with the jack. We're going to go ahead and final authority it anyway. And that will be the set. So extremely lucky that I did not get blown up with the 3-0 in the last game of pools. So Yeah. Thank you, Phrawger, in particular, for giving me the phrase "sometimes some crimes," which I've been using very, very often since then. Yeah, that could have gone very, very differently. So thanks for the games, Phrawger. Well played. Thank you, everybody, for watching. At the end of this game, I move on to playoffs in first spot. So I get a first round bye, and then we move into playoffs. So I will get you those games as soon as I can. Until next time, hope you enjoyed the match. Enjoy yourselves some Yomi. Cheers.